I welcome you all to our Certified DevOps Engineer free live training program. This is our roadmap, and according to it, we have completed day 1 Linux for DevOps, day 2 ABCs of DevOps, day 3 version control system. And today we are going to start day 4 software automation orchestrator. I want to take a moment to talk about our training and development opportunities. For those of you tuning in later, don't forget to mark your calendar for our next free live training session. More details will be available soon. And we have also changed our training registration process. Instead of QR code, there is a direct link in the description or comment section right below the title of this video once it is uploaded like this. So this is our day first part 3 video, and here we already have this link over here. So here is a quick look at our training registration form looks like, and as you can see, it's straightforward and easy to fill out. Just click on the link to get started. Additionally, I must emphasize that our training is entirely free and we'll never ask for any payment or any fees. Please be vigilant and avoid any request for payment claimed to be associated with our program. If you encountered such requests, report them to us. Thank you very much. And I also want to personally acknowledge and thank each and every one of you for your love, your support, your participation, your enthusiasm truly make this session special and rewarding. It's your energy and commitment that inspire us to continue providing this valuable training opportunity. Last thing on this note, so all these are our social media link which are now ready. So feel free to join. So with that said, what we will cover today, I plan in a different way. It's our day 4, and as I promise, after day 4 you will be ready for applying your job as a DevOps engineer, and you will realize once we will done or complete this session. So today's theme is a fighter, just like warrior, gladiator, champions and titans. We are going to equip ourselves with the training skills and knowledge needed to conquer the world of Jenkins. I given the theme of today's session as a fighter. Let's first see. So first is our section or first part. It's a Jenkins warrior. Here we are going to equip with the essential skills and knowledge that we needed to become a Jenkins warrior. And in this section, from understanding the fundamentals of continuous integration, continuous deployment, right, what CI/CDs are, to setting up your first Jenkins job, to setting up the Jenkins itself, everything regarding the basic to kickstart your journey with the Jenkins. So we will be covering everything in this section, and of course interactive business challenges will be, and especially my focus will be not only on this section or just setting up a Jenkins and show you how you run. My motto will be, or what you will learn after this, how actually DevOps use the Jenkins, how Jenkins administration being done in production environment, and also troubleshooting. So I also set up scenarios where you most likely to be encountered when we start with the Jenkins. So those errors we get, and this kind of errors definitely, if interviewer is smart enough, they ask you. So prepare you to take on the challenges. So that's what we will learn in this section. Then our next section is the gladiator. In this, we will delve into the advanced techniques that will transform you into the true Jenkins gladiator. In this, we will be setting up distributed infrastructure of the Jenkins, how Jenkins master slave work together, how distributed builds work in distributed environment or distributed way. So that we will be seeing in this section. So this section will be more advanced. Once we will be done, then our next section will be champion. In this section, we are combining the power of Jenkins and the container to take our CI/CD process to the next level. And in this, you will learn how to seamlessly integrate and containerize Jenkins and create and manage containerized environment for your build and deployment workflow. That's what we will see in this section. And by end of this section, you will be container champion. I promise you, ready to conquer the world of containerization with Jenkins from your side. Then next we will be having the part 4, right, which is I gave a theme as a Titan. So this will be our final part, and we will be scaling up our Jenkins capabilities using Kubernetes. the ultimate tool for orchestrating the containers. And you will discover how to deploy and manage Jenkins on Kubernetes, handle distributed builds, and optimize your CI/CD pipeline for scalability and efficiency. That's the overall agenda for this Jenkins Day 4. Let's start with our first thing, Jenkins Warrior section. Let's first thing first, what Jenkins is. So my definition of Jenkins is like having a reliable friend who takes care of all your routine tasks of like building, like testing, and deploying. It's very simple. That's what Jenkins does basically. And Jenkins is also not limited to this. It is not only just for building and testing or you're deploying your code on the remote server or different environment. I personally use Jenkins in various other tasks like running your shell script, your bash scripts, or doing routine automation like backup kind of tasks. And whatever you could do on your Linux system, everything you could automate using the Jenkins. Or Jenkins is a software or automation platform or provides automation facility for us so we can do the automation and save our time to do something else. So Jenkins is a automation platform that provides us a facility for the building, testing, and deploying our software applications. Now you know the Jenkins. Let's quickly see how Jenkins work. You could also say Jenkins workflow. It's pretty simple. So developer do the coding and they push their code to the GitHub. It's the same thing when developer push their code to the remote repository. In our case, we are using GitHub. No doubt it's a very popular choice. So once developer push the code to the GitHub, then webhooks which are configured, we will be doing this later in the section when we have hands-on part, lab section. There are kind of webhooks and those configured in a way. So when code is pushed to the GitHub, right? So this via or through the webhook, Jenkins will be notified or aware there is some code has been pushed by the end user or developer or anybody, those who has rights to push the code over here. Via webhook, we notified the Jenkins or Jenkins will be notified via webhook, and then Jenkins trigger the appropriate automation task for us based on the what kind of webhook we configure, right? So first, when Jenkins trigger the automation, it pulls the code from the remote repository, which is called as a, you could see SCM, it's a source control management, right? Or you can say the checkout. Then once it is done successfully, then as per the configuration, Jenkins will start building. And after building, we have a testing. Once testing is done, then after that, Jenkins is automatically deployed. And once deployment is done, then we notify to the concerned team or respective team, right? So this is the typical workflow in my experience. 8 9 years I have been seeing so far. It's a typical, there are more state or more things can be involved over here, but this is a basically a typical workflow the Jenkins work. Build, it means we already talk in our day 2 part 1. Later in today's session we will see how we can make the build our own, right? So building, it means, let's say if in case of Java code we have a var file, jar file, or like when we downloaded Ubuntu, we had a .iso file. For Windows, we have .exe file. So those kind of things, that is a artifact we will see in action. But just consider in build, we create out of the code something like we can share with the end user instead of sharing entire code with the user, because it will be overhead for the user, or we create application user can easily use. So that is a build process. So this is a typical workflow I've been seeing so far. Yeah, optionally it could be like this, SCM or source code management is not there, but in our case, yes, code was pushed over here. And if it is a like you are doing or you are taking backup kind of automation job, right, you have setup. So in that case, you don't need to pull anything from the remote repository. You simply have to run your Linux commands or your shell scripts. So that's what we do. Then we, this section, right, this entire section, which is called pipeline, right? So pipeline, because everything is happening one after another, and this thing, these are called your stages. And in our case, we have SCM stage, right? So in this stage we are pulling the code. So stages means simply our automation is divided into this many parts. So consider a stage, it means okay, in this stage I'm doing this particular task. For example, like when we have index of the book, so we know okay, in chapter 1 we have this thing, in chapter 2 we have another thing, and so on and so forth. So similarly, stages can be considered like that. Stages, it means simply we are dividing entire task into the parts what we will do. So in this stage we are just cloning, or we are pulling down the code from the input repository. It means it is done automatically by the Jenkins, right? In this, after that we perform the building process, then we, once build is there, then we perform the test, and then testing is done, then it's deployed, and at the end it's a notified, and everything is happen in continuous manner. There is no human involvement, right? I will talk about on this statement. I mean, I don't want to make a controversial, but yes, ideally this is the way. Once testing is done, and then you automatically deploy, no human intervention is there. And this is the entire flow. This is what happens. Okay, so do you have any questions, guys, on this so far?
No, I understood. Thank you.
Okay, Francisco, thank you so much. So let's go ahead and see. So in this section, we will set up our Jenkins, starting from downloading from the official website to the Ubuntu 24.04, what we have. So first head over to this website, jenkins.io. And here you could see right now you are going to start with, but once you're done, then you could share your story on this blog, or maybe if you want to become a contributor. So this link is also available over here. Jenkins needs us, right? So feel free. But on this page we are going to download. So in this, when we zoom out, here is the option, click on this link. Once we click, we will be presented with this page, and here we know we have two kind of things. So one is stable and another one is weekly release. So we already talk about in our day 2 part 2 video or session, right, where we talk about what are the release cycle. And of course we are interested in a stable one. Of course there is no harm you for your testing, or maybe you would like to check what new features are there, or you want to contribute, so you could go ahead and use this one. But for us, or for production work or our real life workload, we go ahead with this long term support, LTS means, right? So when you scroll a little bit down, so here you can see the downloads option, downloading Jenkins. Always remember, whenever you have something on the vendor website or anything you are gonna download, configure, install, or whatever, so always read the specification very carefully. For example, you're watching any video or any tutorial, watch it completely, understand the concept, and then do the hands-on. Okay, so here downloading the Jenkins, it's say Jenkins is a distributed war files. So we will come on this. Okay, and all this thing, it says follow this installation steps, and it says before downloading, please take a moment to review hardware and software requirement. So always it's a best practice to review what are those things. So when you click on this, and we will be presented prerequisites, right? So we have minimum this one, it requires minimum this one, but recommended is like this for small teams. Or but in our case, I will also tell you what how much configuration we require. But yeah, we could not, or we should not go below this one. Okay, so here also we have hardware recommendation that's not applied to us at the moment. It also says okay, Java, see the Java requirements, web browser, Windows operating system, Linux, and servlet container. Here these are the things for us. For this lab setup, 1 GB RAM is sufficient. One virtual processor if it is installed, or you're gonna install on your virtual machine. So of course we are going to install on virtual machine, Box. So in my setup I have one CPU and 2 GB of RAM, but 1 GB is also sufficient, no problem, right? So it's just testing. But in real life, it would be more. And when we go ahead and when we talk about this monitoring part, then I will let you know more things about this, how you choose the hardware for your own application, right? But for time being, it's okay, more is better, but not below this, right? So after this, we already talk about this, what are the requirements, right? And here we go. Then we also have other things, installing Jenkins. When you click on this, so you will be presented like this. So whatever your use case or where you want to install, you could also select this, but I'm not going to take this path. Instead, I will scroll a little bit more down and I will be presented with several options. So Jenkins support various platform, including Docker, Kubernetes, Ubuntu, and here it says Red Hat Linux and derivatives, okay, and Windows and Mac as well. And there is no such option like CentOS. If you want to configure or install Jenkins on CentOS, right, so it's says the same derivatives. It means this Red Hat Enterprise Linux and derivatives also support on the CentOS as well, because CentOS is not no more CentOS. It's a now change, and it is considered, or it is called as a derivatives of this system. Okay, so for us, let's proceed with the installation. Click on this simple ubuntu/debian, right? And then we will be having these two things, long-term support release and weekly release, and these are the instruction. So here we have two more things for you. I have just put as a sticky note, right? So this command we didn't discuss, or we didn't talk about in our Linux day one videos or sessions, right? So wget is one of the utility, and but of course when we start Kubernetes, we are, or maybe this containerization, we will be using this a lot. So wget is utility to download the file, right? Because in browser we can click on the link and directly download, but in terminal we need something. So that's why we need something, and something is wget, so by which we can download the file. And t is also another utility which can which reads the input from the terminal and our standard input and writes into the files, right? So let's see what these commands are. So of course we are interested in this one, so let's break this down. So very first command we have over here is sudo. We know sudo. Wget, I told you what is that, but -o option, it says where you want to keep your file, right? So -o, so after -o, whatever place you say or you mention, this file will be downloaded in this location. But here additionally, you could also see this jenkins-keyring.asc. It's ASCII kind of formatting, so we don't much go into this, but just for understanding, wget is one of the command, o is the output, and output on this location, right? And what we are going to download, we are going to download this key file, right? And before executing this file at this location, okay, I executed this command ls-t and user share keyring. So user share keyring is already on my system, and so this is the name of the file, jenkins-keyring.asc. So remember, we are downloading this file, so this command will download this file and keep in this format or with this name, right? So let's execute this command, and after that here I executed, right? It says sudo, and of course it asks me for the my own password. I provided, and it says okay, the file has been downloaded, and it also confirm at this location, right? So this is downloaded from this location and put or create a file with this name, and I can confirm using this command, and you could see jenkins-keyring.ac, right? So what basically we are doing in this step, we are similarly like when we install the Git, so we added a repository details into the Ubuntu system, right? So Ubuntu know, okay, which address I have to go and find the packages. That's why we are uh, adding this stuff. And here, but this one is the key. So when we downloaded the file, so we check, or system check, okay, the files which are downloaded are secure, these are not tampered, or these are not hampered in between, right? So by this key, This package manager can verify the downloaded files are secure and safe, and integrity there is no issue with their integrity. Okay, so integrity, it means I have created one file, let's say, and I have written number 1, right? And I ask you, okay, you can download the file from that my server, and I also given you one key. So when you download it, so by the key which I have given you, you can compare. Okay, there is no tampering happen or no modification is happened. So this is called integrity in terms of security. Okay, and if something is there in between happen while downloading from the server, okay, or maybe in man in the middle, or somebody in between connection from your system to the server, they make any changes in the file. So by this key, you could, or the package manager can identify, okay, the file was tampered, it is not correct, or there is a issue with security issue kind of. Okay, so that's why we add this key. And after that, again, this is my command, it says echo. We know echo, it means, and what we are echoing, echo, when we do echo, it means what after that in this codes, whatever we are providing, it will execute or it will display on the screen. And I say slash, and on this one, and then I can say slash and sudo t. So here we are echoing this thing and sudo t. So to t is the file, okay, which I said it reads input from the console. So in this case, this pipe sign, so whatever we are echoing, so this will be input for this command. We already talk about this, and this t command will put all this content in at this location slash etc apt resource.list.d slash jenkins.list. Okay, and here we are just saying, okay, if any error is there, so don't show it, just put it over here. So it's kind of sudo, there is no path, so it's not showing on the screen. Okay, so this very simple thing. So again, I by this command I check, okay, do I have anything? No, I don't have. Then I executed this command, and after that I again check, and I found, okay, this jenkins.list is there, and when I cat out the content, I could see whatever I was trying to echo, everything is put in this file. Okay, so that's what this command does. And yeah, then okay, now repository details has been saved to our local server or local ubuntu. Then we have to refresh. So once we say, okay, sudo apt-get update, so with this Jenkins repository added, and update the package index, right, to include the Jenkins is in there, it's their record. After that, same command, sudo apt-get install and jenkins-y, right? And whenever you install anything, so since beginning I've been telling you and emphasizing on this kind of thing, right, it creates a kind of symbolic link, and it says jenkins.service. So this is the name of the service. Okay, so when you have to check or troubleshoot, so you know what kind of command you have to run. So jenkins.service, but if you say jenkins is also fine. So like once you install, right, after that, what you need to do, you need to check the status, right? So it says sudo systemctl status jenkins, right? So we know jenkins.service is the name of the service, and as I said, you don't need to specify .service when you say or when you execute this command sudo systemctl status jenkins. It will give you the what is the current situation of the installed software, and in this case we want to check the jenkins. It says okay active, and it says failed, right? And here I can see, okay, jenkins service main process exited code like this, and failed to start jenkins and jenkins continuous integration server. So it is not able to start the service, so it's kind of issue. So let's troubleshoot what it's happened. So we see the logs. So I have one command by which I can check. This is the command, right? journalctl-u. So we know, we already talked in our linux part 3 how we check the log. So here journalctl-u, it means we are interested only in jenkins log. And if we okay, let me make it like this. So you can see over here we have so many red, yellow, white, and so on and so forth. So these are just few logs, but in when what happened when you have so many logs. So instead of going in this long way, let me show you very faster and quick way, right? So here, when I executed this command systemctl, right, so it says here process, right, process 2147, it's exited. And if you see over here, I executed the same command, then I use the pipe symbol and grep. Dash I is not required when you have numeric value, but it's my practice. I always use dash I. Dash I, it means ignore the character, like uppercase and lowercase, capital J or small j, like that. But it's a number, so it doesn't make sense. But still, it's I'm used to with this, so I just put it. So no problem. So what happened when we execute this two command? You can see directly here it says this one and Jenkins 2147, and here it was also the same. So when you are troubleshooting, so here the key point or takeaway point is, when you are doing troubleshooting, always check, especially in this kind of things, find out the process ID, right? And check what happened with the process, because list of logs is very, very, very long, right? So instead of wasting lots of time, directly grab the process ID number, grab that, and you will directly find, okay, what is, and you can see Jenkins failed to find a valid Java installation. And if I go back over here or over here, so you cannot see. Usually what happened, we think, okay, log, it means, I mean, the error, it means it should be in red color, right? But here we didn't find anything in red color. And when you perform this task, so here we have the same error message in white color, right? So that was the problem, right? So now we know, okay, what was the problem. So that's why initially I said, and on the same download page, when you scroll little bit down, so installation of Java instruction was also mentioned on your download page, okay? But these are little bit down, and when we start, so usually it's very normal, it is possible to happen, we don't go till there, but already they mention in their prerequisite section. If we see, sorry, here, right, so in their prerequisite section, they already mention the software requirement. So that's why I said always read the documentation before, prepare your notes, what you're gonna do. Okay, that will save your time. And because, for example, this task is assigned to you in your company as a first DevOps engineer job, you got a role, you got a task, you need to configure and install the Jenkins server. Instead of going other way around, read the prerequisite. That will really save your time and you will be finishing your task faster. In this, when you click on the Java requirement, it will provide you all this related. So maybe you are using Java 7. So in case you cannot upgrade the Java on your system because of application dependency, so it says, okay, which version we are going to support. So if you have your application only supports Java 7, on your server you have Java 7 version, so go and find this version. And now we know what this 1.6 to 5.1 means, right? We talk in our day 2 part 2 where we talk about all this versioning. So that's why I everything explained beforehand, right? And these are really, really important, versioning. So always remember two things. Always go ahead and understand the prerequisite. What are the software requirement? What are the hardware requirement? Of course, I mean, it is usually, I personally experience people overlooked, right? The software requirement. So it should not be happen. Okay. So, but in our case, we are going to use this one. We already have the latest Java. We will go with this, right? And so that's why we are gonna download or install 2.47.79.1 version. Okay, that's version support this one. So I guess, not guess, or I believe now these things make sense or make sense for you guys, why I have been spent this much amount of time only on this, just instead of rather copy paste the command. Okay, so always remember this point, keep in your mind. So we know, okay, Java was not installed. So there are several ways by which we can see, okay, whether Java is installed or not. Okay, these are some of the commands. What I executed Java dash dash version, and it says, okay, command Java not found, but can be installed with this. So simply copy and paste. So I use 21. So I also showed you how you can check which Java you should install, right? Which previous documentation link. So go ahead and do that. I'm gonna install this one, 21. And after that, these things we already talked in our Linux section, so I'm not gonna explain it again. We know, but again, when I install, I could check the version, right? And I think you realize now this command, why do we need this kind of command to check the just to version, right? So initially when we execute, I think, oh, these are just simple command. Why I'm interested in Java version command? I know what version I'm gonna install, right? Or what version I have installed. So in real world, when many people work together in a team, so maybe this was configured long back, and that person is no longer working work with the company that you don't know. So it's better to check with this kind of command, right? So we have this, and after that I installed the Java, and again I come back and I quickly again check by which this is my process ID number, right? When I started, so after installation is still Jenkins is not up, right? So I could see, and it says failed to find a valid Java indication. So it means Jenkins was keep on trying the thing. So what we need to do, we have to start the service manually. Okay, so that's why we executed the command sudo systemctl start Jenkins. If you want to stop, simple say stop Jenkins instead of start, right? And here I run this command status, right? And my Jenkins is up and running. And when I go back to my browser and I said okay, and here you can see localhost I'm using, right? I install on my local system, right? So that's why I can access it by local. But when you install, so it's best to access your Jenkins server by the IP address of your machine or virtual machine or your system. Okay, so just go in the browser, type IP address colon 8080. 8080 is the default port of your Jenkins. Okay, now if you will be able to see this screen, because Jenkins is started up and running. So very first time when you install, you will be seeing this screen. It says unlock the Jenkins, and here var lib Jenkins secret initial admin password. When you go to this location in this file, initial admin password, retrieve it and paste it over here. Okay, and additionally or alternatively, when we execute this command, you could see the password was also provided here. Okay, and it was also said this may also be found over here. So why I'm showing you this black screen, because when we when we install in the container or Jenkins inside the container or using the containerization, then we do not have this option, right? So we know, so we know, okay, in the logs it shows, and these are its logs, so initial logs, right? So by which we can identify what is the password. So simple, we retrieve and copy the password and paste into the Jenkins unlock screen and follow the setup instructions. Simple, right? So, and right after that I click sorry, not, I mean, of course, click on the continue here, and after that we will be having these two things. Again guys, it's an important screen while you're configuring. And now what I'm gonna say, it's I'm putting my life into the danger. You will come after me, but it's okay, I want you to learn. Ideally everybody says, okay, when you are starting, so go with the suggested thing, go with the default thing. But so far you realize me how I go, right? Or how I proceed. I never go with the default thing, and that's how I learn, right? So I would say don't click on install suggested plugin, right? What plugins is, we will be coming on this shortly. So select this one, select plugin in plugins to install. Okay, don't go with this option, of course it's your choice, but if you go with this one, then you will be not able to understand what Jenkins actually using, or what is the kind of plugins is already there, right? Because it will suggest you, or when you click on this, is of course it will show you on the screen after that what plugins it is going to install, but later you will forget it. So instead, don't go with this option, go with this option. Additionally, one more thing, it's a kind of security point of view, right? In security, it says your attack surface should be as low as possible or as minimized as possible. So when you are doing, or when you customize the thing, right? So for example, you are buying a car, right? And you have option to customize. You will be taking, I mean, including and excluding, I mean, including those things, those or those features which are really required or needed to you, right? And you will be excluding those you don't want. And you know, okay, this feature I know I want, and that's why I have these things, and this I don't want, and I don't need. So this is kind of same thing. So I always prefer to go my own way. I want to customize by my own, and that's what I love, right? So that's why I'm selecting over here, but it's your choice. Feel free, go ahead and do. I will also give you one more reason on this, but in a bit. So we click on this. So still nothing happening. You will be presented like this screen. And here, if you see on this top part of this, it says all, none, suggested and selected. So again, now out of these three, I'm asking you to click on the none, and now I'm setting you up on the fire, you know, but I want you to learn, right? That's why. So select none. And if it's still, here is another chance, still you don't want to go in this way, still stick with the suggested. So automatically this green one will be reflect. Okay, so I selected none, you could see over here, right? And after that I said install, right? And this is install. So what is my point on this plugin point? That let me come back over here before we proceed further. This is very common question in your interview, in your Jenkins interview. Okay, they ask you what plugins have you used or are you using in your current system, right? So if you go ahead with the suggested one, I will also recommend you to, yes, click on the suggested and see what kind of plugin it is gonna be installed automatically, right? There are so many plugins you really don't want to, or you really don't want at the moment, right? So that's why always go with the customization or customized option, right? And here there are several categories, what kind of plugins are available, and whatever plugin you are going to install, okay, later on, then make a note of it. When interviewer will ask you the question, you can tell, okay, I found this plugin, I mean this error, and that's why I found out later on, okay, because to resolve this error I need to download and install this plugin, and I installed this plugin on the Jenkins, and then I was able to configure. So if you give this much long answer, so guys, your probability of getting selected is more than the just saying, okay, I use GitHub plugin, I used a pipeline plugin. No guys, no, that's not the uh, I would say that's not the way to answer. That's a general way, right? So always answer in a way, and of course when your interview will listen this answer, of course the person will also impress. They realize, yes, okay, he has or she has used actual Jenkins, they know Jenkins, okay, instead of just saying the plugin name. Okay, so that's why I spent this much time. It's enough on this. Then provide your username, password, confirm password, full name, and click on the save and continue over here. And here you could see automatically it says localhost because I am accessing on localhost, right? I told you, when you are accessing, then you have to put your IP address, that then here especially, right? 8080. So 8080, it's a Jenkins default port which can be changed, but at the moment I will not change it, or I will not also recommend you to go and change it, but of course I will show you. Okay, so don't worry about that. And it's saying localhost because in my browser I'm accessing it via localhost, right? So you will be most likely, not most likely, you will be seeing here IP address, okay, whatever you have provided in your browser. So that's okay, but here you also have this option, right? It says not now. So it's your choice if you don't want to do this. So let's say you are configuring Jenkins for your production server. So in company you will be having, and I told you since very beginning, each and every machine, or in company we know, okay, there is a dedicated URL. So if you have handy, put it over here. If you don't have, leave it, right? Because later, but it happens already, the Jenkins, I mean not Jenkins, when we do in production. So in planning we already know, okay, how we will access this Jenkins, and that's how this DNS record is created. So but in our case it's fine, okay, leave it as is with the IP slash colon and 8080. That's completely fine for us, right? Then once you're done, then start using the Jenkins. And congratulations, our Jenkins installation is done. And now we have successfully installed Jenkins on Ubuntu 24.04. Okay, do you have any questions on this installation process, the questions we discussed so far?
Could you do a little recap of what we done until now, please?
You mean from the command line or in the configuration section, you mean, Francisco?
I mean, I from the installation of Jenkins and until now, yes, a little recap if it is possible.
Sure. So let me quickly walk you through again what we have done, and for rest, it will be a recap, right? 1 second here. So we go visited the website, right? Jenkins.io, download and selected Ubuntu, right? Then we have this option, all this, right? All these commands. And sorry, if you come over here, like if you hover your cursor on this, so here there is an option to the copy. Then you have to copy and execute all the commands on the your terminal, right? And that's what I have done. So for example, not for example, let me show you. Right here I executed this command, and after that, refreshing the repository, I said sudo apt install jenkins-y, right? And after that my Jenkins is installed. And now I showed you beforehand we have to install the Java, right? After that, we are considering we already beforehand installed the Java, and after that we install the Jenkins. And then on this screen we says, okay, our Jenkins is up and running, right? Then I come over here. So here I have to provide or put my system or my virtual machine, or where I have installed the Jenkins, right? That IP address I have to put in a browser, colon 8080. Then you will be able to see this screen. Then there is a command says cat, right? Or if not, then we can also see in the previous screen how you can check the password. So when you say cat or this location on the terminal, it will give you the password or initial password to unlock this, right? Once you provide this password, right, and after that we hit say continue, right? And then you will be
This,
Mhm.
sorry, that the last window where you, this one, yes, lock Jenkins, it's open automatically from the terminal, or you have to open parallelly in the browser?
No, not from the terminal. You have to put the IP address. I will show you later when we visit to the, I mean, configuring the jobs. But for now, the answer of your question is you have to manually type the IP address here. So let's say your machine IP is 192.168 100.100. Then you have to type that and colon 8080. Then you will be able to see this screen.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's you have to do manually. Okay, because it is in browser, it is not in terminal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then we come over here, then we selected the plugins option, right? And then we chose okay, we don't want to install any of the plugin. That's completely fine. And after that, we come over here. Here you have to choose your on, right? What username or password, simple. And here I was talking about, so when you provide your IP address in colon 8080, so when you come to this screen, right, you will be able to see here http colon slash slash your IP address, let's say 192.168.100.100 colon 8080. Okay, and then you have to save and finish. So it's your choice, but it's okay, we can make a change of it, and I will also let you know how you can make a change of it. So like you are doing the configuration and at the moment the your company domain or your URL is not handy, so that's fine, we can go ahead and use with the say not now. Okay, and once it is done, your Jenkins is ready. And once you click on this start using the Jenkins, so on the same window you will be able to see this dashboard. So this is your Jenkins dashboard.
The Jenkins dashboard in the browser.
Yeah,
That
in the
is,
browser. Yeah.
and you are managing from the browser, basically your machine, right?
No, 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 no. Here it's my I install the Jenkins on virtual machine. Maybe I could show you.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
1 second. Over here. Well, okay. Then we have to say Jenkins.
All right.
Jenkins is running. So this is the terminal where I was doing. Okay, and the snapshot I have shown you where it was giving us a kind of password over here, and also the location where the password file initially presented, right? So that can be get from there. And this one, okay, this one is my browser on my system. This is the difference. So that was the terminal, this one is the browser. Okay.
Yes.
Any more questions so I can still answer before we go ahead and talk more other things?
I think I'm done now. Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francisco and Summer. And now, so we have 1 second. Yeah. So this is our dashboard. Okay. So I think after the dashboard, there are few more things we should talk on this. So let's go ahead and see. So this is our dashboard, and on dashboard, what we have first on right side, we have a new item I will be discussing in a bit, and we have a build history. So when I showed you first diagram, right, when we Jenkins trigger the automation, so when automation is completed, it is once occurrence of that is called build. So when you click on this, you can see, okay, what happened on my server. Okay, here is the manage Jenkins. All the management related options of the Jenkins will be available over here. So I'm just giving you a very high level overview, because it is not it really doesn't make any sense to spend so much time on this, because if I tell you just theory, then it won't make sense. But still, just as a to cheat our brain, I'm just telling you. Okay, so here we will find all the Jenkins management related stuff. This next we have view, so how we see our builds on this dashboard. So here we have multiple option. You can say, okay, for my project one, let's say you are creating a view. I will also show you later, but just for understanding, you could say my client one view and all these projects in this, or maybe project one, all these builds in this, project two, all these builds in this, like that. So it's more for the your dashboard customization option. Then of course here is the build queue. When we execute multiple things or multiple, like of course Jenkins is not just for one job, right? We will be having lots of or so many automations. So what are in the queue you can see over here, right? After that you also say build execute status, whether executor status. So here it says 0/2, it means you have two executor, right? We will see where it these options can be changed, right? So this is the one thing. On your left hand side, another thing we have, it says, okay, in the center it says welcome to the Jenkins. This page is where your Jenkins job will be displayed. To get started, you can set up distributed builds or start building a software project. So yes, we will be setting up a distributed build, but not in this section. In next section we will be doing that. And but here it says create a job, right? So this point is still I'm saving. I'll tell you in a bit why. Here we have set up an agent. So I was telling you about distributed builds, right? So Jenkins is also have like master, one master, and there is so several agents or slaves where Jenkins can execute the builds, right? So it also has its own advantage, but still just agent as a additional server where you can execute your automation for now. But in next section 2 we will be deep dive into this. We will be setting this up. We also see why do we need this thing, right? Second choice, we also have cloud configuration, so we can also do the I mean, it's of course you may have, or you could set up the cloud configuration. So where the popular choice over here is to you can set up container or Docker, Kubernetes or AWS or maybe other clouds as well. So where you don't want to manage the slaves, you want, okay, when my job will be triggered, then automatically this agent or this slaves will be, or instead of that I will say this server will be created automatically. They will done their job and they destroy themselves automatically. So you don't have overhead as a Jenkins administrator to maintain those slab thing. So those are more dynamic. So this time we configure Jenkins server on, and next time of course we will set up an agent. But this one here you have the automatically, I mean, you create a template, and this agent will be automatically spin up, created there by their own. They will complete their job and they will also destroy themselves. So that will over here. And of course if you want to learn more, you can click on this link and you will find. So we will go more dive deeper into following section, but at the moment just as a option, so you don't be amazed what these options are. So don't click on this. For now we have these two things: new items and create job. Because here in my experience I found out create new item or create a job or create a project, all these terms are interchangeably used, right? So our dev friend says, oh, build is not working properly, or my builds are getting failed, right? And Jenkins administrator says, or maybe DevOps says, okay, my building, I mean, my Jenkins jobs are not triggering properly or not configured properly. Okay, or maybe I rarely heard about the project, right? But all this term says the same thing. It means you are creating your automation, right? So I will show you how it looks like. When you click on this, you will land on the same page. Okay, and depending on the requirement, so you can say, okay, Jenkins project or Jenkins job or Jenkins build. There is a slight different, but who cares in IT? So as it is happening, people have been using this, and I also heard, and I also started using in the same way, and now it's very common. So no wonder, and don't be surprised, and don't also worry in interview. You could maybe, if you, because why I'm telling you, in if your interviewer ask you, okay, what projects you work or you set up in Jenkins or work on in Jenkins. So don't be confused. They are asking for different thing. If they say Jenkins, it means simple. They are asking you what kind of automation you have set up, or you had been set up before, or you know, or you can set up in future. Or may they say item is still the same, they say job is still the same. So don't confused with that. Okay. So when you click on this, it will be, but let's say before creating this, let's quickly let me show you what kind of thing is that. So when I showed you before, right, so it's a Jenkins job. So when developer commits code, right, and we know via webhook Jenkins is aware. There are other ways as well, right? Jenkins can be aware, but this is the standard way. Let's stick with this. And Jenkins trigger automation. So Jenkins can trigger two kind of automation jobs. Okay. So first is GUI based. Okay. So for this, here you can see, okay, when you click on this and you say this GUI based called, or GUI based automation or project or jobs called freestyle project jobs, right? We'll come on this, but it looks like this. You have kind of description. It's not mandatory. You have discard old build. This project is parameterized. We will talk about this when we more go into the advanced and you are more familiar with this. And execute concurrent builds if necessary. Leave this part, but here for us it's a source code management or source code management, SCM, right? So here it's a source code management. If you have to, so like this one, right, we have to pull code from the Git repository. So we have this option, right? We click over here and we configure a Git repository, right? We'll come on this, but you have this option, right? Then next option you have trigger, right? So as I said, trigger, so Jenkins can be triggered. So in this case it says trigger built remotely, right, from the script. So it is again the advanced thing, but I would like to explain you this one. Build after other projects are built. So let's say before this, or maybe I showed you in the diagram, right, to start building a process, first we have to build, or first we have to download the repository. So you can mention it over here and mention the further things, and based on that you can configure it, right? Build periodically. We will see this poll SCM. This is also one of the another option how you can trigger, right? So periodically it means time to time Jenkins will go to the remote repository and check for the changes in the repository. If it is there, then it perform the task. If poll SCM, it means again for time to time it will check, right? If sorry, my mistake. I'm really sorry. So build periodically, it means, for example, you are setting up a backup, right? So in backup you said, okay, after every 6 hours I need a backup of whatever data is there. So in that kind of job you could select on build periodically. Okay. So after every 6 hours, this build will be automatically triggered. It will do the backup, or I just give you the example of backup. It can be anything depending on your use case. Okay, so that is periodically after every 6 hours. All SCM here, it's also same, but here we also mention the timing, and in that it will go and check if any changes are there, right? So we will see what are the advantages and disadvantage of this. And next we have environment. So we already talk about in our Linux part 3 and how we set the environment variable, right? Here we have kind of secrets and secret files. So if you have something you can use it. And last one over here which we are really interested in, it says build step, right? So here in build step, when you click on this hamburger icon or there to how many lines? 3 lines. You will see more option, but I selected execute a shell. So this box is similar to your terminal. Whatever command you can execute on your terminal, you can also execute over here, and you are good with this. So you don't need to go ahead and learn any kind of scripting or so. These are very simple, straightforward thing, right? Whatever command you are executing on your terminal, you can execute over here, right? Then next job is called kind of pipeline, where you also have something description, throttle, project is parameterized, and pipeline, and so on and so forth. We will be looking into in part 2, right? Then triggers. Then of course here we also have build, after build, periodically, policy, trigger, build remotely. And here the new thing is it says pipeline, right? So we will talk in this, not only talk, I will, yes, I would say teach you because I will tell you how you would write, what you would write for your production level. So don't worry at all. It's very, 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 or I would say super easy thing. I love to do this instead of this freestyle, but I use both in my several projects depending on my use case. So don't be think, okay, what is this kind of thing? We have to write code. No, once you will be master in this, then and I will let you know, or I will show you what things you need to know, like Linux. So many things, but you really don't need to learn. Of course, more you know, more is better. So we have this two kind of jobs, right? So one is freestyle, another one is declarative, and this pipeline is the way we set up jobs, right? Or project. I will be saying jobs only, but it's up to you. So you know when somebody says job, item, project, so you know what we are referring. So this is a declarative way where you declare your own, right? These are freestyle way, and it the difference, not exactly, but still the same. We talk in our Linux part, GUI versus terminal difference, right? So declarative are more powerful. You can do more lot of things, and they are super easy. And yeah, I must admit, when I started, and I was also trained using this, and I thought, yeah, that's the best way. I can do GUI based. But when it comes to a project where I had to set up 1000 pipeline, not 1000 pipeline, 1000 microservice pipeline for 1000 microservice, that then I realized how the powerful is this. Okay, because here I have to create a manual or GUI based jobs each and every time for this many things. Here I just return a code, I can reuse that very easy, right? And in production, nobody use this for automation. Of course, I told you these are powerful, very simple, easy to use. And when, but you have to decide, right, where you use it. So for example, like I gave you the example of backup. So just for backup, I can also create pipeline, but that really doesn't make any sense for me because it's just command, one command. I can say, okay, here just write a command and the job gets done. Or for example, you need to pull out some kind of report. Freestyle jobs are enough, you don't need to waste your lots of time over here, right? So declarative, freestyle, declarative are more powerful, freestyles are also very popular. And but I will tell you, yes, use it, but don't stick with this. Go for this. This is the future. Okay. And after this, um yeah, before we create a job, last thing I would like to show you over here on this page, right? There are more other options like Jenkins, manage Jenkins, right? Here when you click on this dashboard will be, or all the administration or administrative related things will be presented on this. You can see there is a warning, it says build on the built-in node. Built-in node, it means where we have installed the Jenkins right now, right? It is referring to that. Can be security issue, you should set up a distributed build. Okay, thank you very much Jenkins, we will do this later, but for now it's a dismiss. Okay, you will also see the same kind of warning. The next category we have system configuration. Here we do the global system related configuration thing, right? Here we do the tools, like if we need something like Git, Maven, or your npm or whatever you want tools. So you, that kind of tool, if you cannot install, you can configure, or if it is manually installed on the server, you can configure in this plugin. There we will be dealing a lot, right? And this is the place where you should be shine, okay? Because it is going to be asked, and you, the at least 10 to 15 plugins name should be on your, on top of your head when you are in an interview. Remember, here the note. So right before this one I showed you one warning, right? So that warning, it's a node. So node, it is simply we can have, when we set up distributed build, I will show you, we will be using this option. Then we have clouds, right? So where, when I was referring before, we have the dynamically created agents, right? So we would be click, we would be going to this cloud section. So it doesn't mean cloud, it means the cloud, but it means it is apart from the local, right? Where dynamically spin up the pod itself, come up, come back, like that. Okay, so we will be doing over here. So I already told you the option: Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, and other rest of it. Next we have the security. Yes, we will talk about security in next section, and I will tell you, this is one of the hottest thing, hottest topic. You must be master in this, right? Many people ignore this topic, but I would love to share. Jenkins, this one, the security point is always remember, whenever you are in interview, always mention this point: I know the security. Okay, any tool, not only for the Jenkins, okay, but only mention when you know, because when you say security, the next moment your interviewer will be happy, because they know, okay, now we have some different candidate, let's ask something. So confidently say and answer. I will show you what kind of securities we can configure in Jenkins, but before that, we will hold our horses, right? We first learn the Jenkins. I promise you, I will show you all the security things of the Jenkins in this option. Okay. Then here we have user. So yes, of course, pretty much self-explanatory. And there are some more options: system information, system log, logs about Jenkins, troubleshooting, it's on. And here we have prepare for the shutdown. Here we also have script console, Jenkins CLI. You can also use CLI, but it will take some time for you guys. First, you know how you can use the Jenkins itself, but it will not hard at all. And this option, it says when you prepare for shutdown, so in distributed build, Jenkins will not trigger more jobs, okay? And because Jenkins prepare itself for the shutdown, okay? So these are the options. So before I go ahead, do you have any questions so far?
No, no, my side. No questions.
Okay, thank you, Francisco. Okay, so guys, let's quickly take a break over here, and after break I will be showing you how we do the automation for Java based web application. Okay, so let's quickly take a break of 10 minutes and come back in 10 minutes. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you.
I tried to install the Jenkins and but didn't work. It had some issue doing it, but I will fix in another moment.
So we will do this, and so after this, once we done our next section, then I will be staying with you on the call, and we will together fix the thing.
Okay.
No worries at all. Okay. Okay, guys. So back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I will be back. Let's start. So okay. So now it's time for us. We know everything, all the concept, but I mean not but leave. You know, you have a broad picture of what Jenkins is about, right? So whatever we have discussed so far, of course, you have to install your own Jenkins. I already did that. Okay, just to in order to save the time and tell you more important thing. I mean, of course, installation is the important thing, but whatever points I thought need to be discussed with you, I already did. So now it's time to go back our terminal, not terminal. So here is the Jenkins. And one more thing, this Jenkins, I have made some changes. I will show you in next section. Okay, here you maybe see jenkins.dsoc3.local. I'm accessing it like this. Okay, no worries, no wonder at all. I will show you how you could do this. So stick with the your IP address, and if you see here after this, so you have to provide your IP address, this colon, and then here at 080 like this. Okay, so let's log in. So I have created this username, I have given this password now, and this is the dashboard. Before we go ahead, I would like to show one thing. Okay, I have created simple Java application, web-based application. Okay, this is publicly available, right? So you can, if you're following along, or later if you want to do practice, you can use it. So how you can use it, first of all, let me tell you. I'll give you here, or maybe we can copy from here. Let me give you in a chat. 1 second. So what you can do, you simply go to this repository, and here there is an option, fork your repository. Then you can do the fork of the repository over here. Okay, so I cannot, because of course it's on my repository. Okay, so make sure you do it. So it will be fork, it means simple, like we do cloning, right? We copy our this URL and we say git clone and this URL, right? And then it will be downloaded on our own local system. So when you fork this, so this repository will be move, it means will be copied to your own system, I mean on your own account, and then you can perform the things. Okay, and I would also love if you would like to enhance this, right? So I'm not a developer, right? And so whatever I know based on that very simple thing, but yeah, that will done our job, what we need to do. So everything over here, so consider this as a code which was prepared. They make more sophisticated thing. I just put it just for the practice. Maybe later on I will work on this and make it more better version of this. So in initial release, it's fine. You can see the language, it says 100% Java, nothing, there is no more code in this. So here like we learn readme file, yes, of course there is nothing. I will put more instruction into that. So, but at the moment it's like this here. So when we have code, right? So as a DevOps or DevOps engineer, you don't need to do this coding, right? This code will be done by our developers friends, right? They will they will code and they will push to the repository, right? And after that, what you have to do, that things I'm gonna tell you. And guys, when you go into the company, you really not alone who is working on this, right? There is a cross-functional team. There are some people from the development or development team. There are some people from the testing team. Whatever your objective to do the automation, several team members will be involved into that, and after that this pipeline or this automation will be set up. So let's go over here. When you log into your GitHub account, I shared the link with you, right? It's a DSOC3 web app, right? And you can fork it from over here, right? And so let's say for this, what we need to know, what information we need to know so we can do the automation for this, right? So let's first clone this. So I copy this as is. It's a public. I don't have to provide any credential. I go to my machine, and this is host name stl, and Jenkins DSOC3.local. It's my server. What I have over here, nothing. I said git clone and repository, and I know, yeah, this folder will be created, and I go into this directory. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I think it's more too much. Okay, fine. Or maybe okay, fine, I guess. Okay, this much is enough. So first thing first, let's say what we have in the repository. We have source, which is your src folder where source code is there. Then you have pom.xml file, which is the important thing of your project. So like in our git, we have .git directory. Similarly, all your project related information is stored in this, your code, right? So it says project object model pom, right? So let me show you what is this. So yeah, in this I have already put each and every line as a comment. So in XML file, these are comments. So root element, take a time and read about this. I'm not gonna read it for you. I already put everything step by step, line by line, what each and every lines mean. Okay, what I'm gonna discuss with you over here, so it's your project. So whatever domain you gave, it is being done by the developers, right? But artifact ID, so when our artifact, I will show you later how artifact, so the artifact when created, right, when you perform build, so file name would be like this. And what kind of, so it says war. Okay, so it already defined over here. This is your version. And yeah, you can also do versioning when you have multiple, like snapshot, pre-release, or however you want to store, right? So whenever you get some application Java based, first go ahead and before going to ask anybody any question, take a time and read the pom.xml file. Okay, here you will get all your answers. But if you don't get, then collect your question and check with your development team, right? And then we have here dependencies, right? So whatever dependencies we required, so we perform or put dependencies over here. So like for test, I have put this JUnit. Also for test, I also provided servlet, and these are the dependencies. Then we are building, right? So these are the plugins. So like we have plugins in Jenkins. Similarly, we also provide plugins over here. This is a plugin section. So to do the compiler, when you clone this, right, it means when you fork this, so remove this kind of block, okay, this plugin, and check what kind of error you get. So you will get idea, okay, why we need a plugin in this. We also have a surefire plugin, right, which is related to Maven. It's a war plugin because we are gonna make or test the war file. Okay, so this very simple. It's nothing. It's like when kid write code, it's that kind of, but it really works for us. What we want to do, we can see. Okay, so very first thing, we have to check whether Maven is installed or not. First, Java, first of all. So Java dash dash version, because we have to execute a Java application, right? So Java must be there, runtime at least. Then it's a Maven based. So we are using, or we are learning the Maven, right? So Maven is a build tool. So it's the same when you have Windows based application. So you know .exe, right? For anything you download for Windows, right? Any software, it will be downloaded as a .exe. So similarly for Java, it's because it's a web, so we have .var, .jar as well, right? Not for the web, but I will show you in .git ignore file. There are so many other as well, and that's what it happens. So to create that, right? So end user can easily use that, or we can easily use it instead of putting our source code on the server, right? So that's why we need something, and that is Maven is a tool, a building tool we are using, right? So we can check whether Maven is installed or not. So simple mvn-v, and it says, yeah, Maven is installed. If it is not, it will show you, or it will throw you an error, and you know how to install the Maven, right? So very simple, sudo apt install and Maven, and that's it. Very pretty much easy. Fine. So those two things we already have, right? And where we are, so we are in this folder, right, or this directory, in our project directory. Let me clear this screen first, and I'm here, right? And in this I have this content, and my pom.xml file is there. So very first thing, Maven mvn clean. So let me first show you the structure of this one. So when we know tree command, if this utility is not installed, you can install Ubuntu command is there. So here I have readme file, pom.xml file, right? Then I have a source code. Inside that I have two things. One is main, another one is test. This, I mean, as a DevOps engineer, yes, we should know why and what these directories are. Okay, one second. So here, this is your source code directory. Inside that main and the test contain your all the test related, all the test cases will be, you will find in this, right? Here source main Java, and this is the name I have given, club.dsoc, so dsoc.club, and this is my servlet.java file, right? Second thing, I have a web and web.inf, web.xml, and index.jsp. These are just XML and JSP file, right? And second, here the test. So here the takeaway, your test cases will be here, your source code will be here, your XML and JSP files in this web app, this directory, but inside main. So inside source you have main and test. Okay, so this is one thing. Now let's see create a build. So very first command we can execute, or we execute over here, and I am over here. So always remember, whenever your pom file, pom.xml file is there, and always it is right inside your the parent or root folder. So this is your root directory. After inside that you have source code and other things. So always, if you have more code over here, right, always your pom file will be right before. As soon as you enter into this main directory of your project, you will be able to see pom.xml. Okay, remember this thing, because Maven will find this in the root directory. So, and this is our root directory. We are not in .src. So for example, let's check src, and I would say Maven clean, and let's see what happened. It says build failed, right? Because why failed? Let's see. The goal you specified requires a project to execute, but there is no pom in this directory, right? So it has started logging in this. If I move my pom file over here, then Maven will work. And it says build, and it also says goal. So goal, it means simple, the command, right? The command which we are executing. So in Maven term, it says, yeah, these are your goal, what you want to do. Okay, so we cannot change this, so we need to learn. But yeah, we are not going to do manually, but why I'm showing you over here, so you know when we do it on automated way, you know how it happens. Okay, that's why just I'm explaining you. So what I will do, I will go back in parent directory, then clear my screen, and again I will execute maven clean. Let's see, it says build success. Now what happened? So we know the command when we execute this ls-lrt, and we got something. It says clean. So we do not have anything. Before we had the same content, now we also have the same. So maven clean is whatever like previous, something happened in previous build, it will clean everything. Okay, all the caches and whatever stuff over here inside this directory, and it will make a clean environment to make further things. So let's execute another goal or execute another command. Let me first clear the screen, and I will execute a command maven compile. Okay, so it's a simple Java concept when we compile the, or simple not Java, when we compile the code, so it's more related to machine understandable format. And you can see it says compile one source file, and which is in target dash dash class. So let's say before it was not here, now we have it here. So let's see what we inside we have target, and you can see inside target it create one class club, the name is same, and it's a class file. Before it was welcome servlet dot java, right? Now it's converted into a class. It's a simple Java funda, right? Java thing, but just explaining you. If you don't want to learn, you wish, but from my perspective, it's good to know. And ignore this one, ignore this one for time being. Okay, so this was created inside this. Now our code is compiled, we can run another goal or another command. So let me clear the screen again, and I would say maven test. So after compilation, let me perform the testing, and it says test run 6, value is 0, 0 errors, skip 0. So there are total 6 cases was written by this developer, right? And everything was happened successfully, all good. Our test cases are passed. Now see what happened. ls-lrt, and still something happened in the target directory. Nothing happened with this. We know by this command we can check. And when I say tree command target, so now you see more things added. Before we had only class, this status compiler plugin. Now we have this surefire reports, and it says like test dash club dot I mean dot dsoc3, and this name dot xml, and here we have text format, and here also we have the test class which was before, right? So but testing is done. But once testing is done, then we can say okay, now let's build it. So far what I have shown you, maven compile, right? And second, so this one I have shown you this one, maven test, because we have compiled. After that we have executed maven test. I just put a hash so it will not execute. This is not a part of command. Okay, I just put it so this command will not start, get to trigger. Okay, yeah. Then after that I've shown you maven. What they come no, only we have done the test, right? So next, let me clear the screen, or not clear the screen, maven package. Right now let's see what happened when we execute this command. Okay, it says, let's see one by one, or it says build success, copying web app resources, this and building var. So it has copied something from source code, from sources right here, and it says building war. Yes, of course we are interested in war. And in POM file I told you, right, when we have what kind of application, so it will be given a name as a dsoc dash web app, and what it would be dot war, right? And now check what happened, where it changes has happened. So it's still target, right? And when I say, so now it means whatever changes happens in the target file. And when I say tree, sorry, when I say tree target, what do I guys? Okay, so when I say tree target, now let's see what happened. This class file was created when we did compilation, right? Correct? Then here still we have of course class file. Here we have something else. This was not before, the soc3 dash web app.war, right? And here of course shofar report was before, but still it's here. So ultimately more contents are created in this. I have just shown you, play with it, and you will see what happened. So every time whenever we come execute this command, not this one, ls-lrt, we always got, okay, changes were happening always inside the target folder. Okay, and I told you this command maven clean, right? So when I did this, and if I execute the command ls-lrt, and you can see there is no target folder anymore, right? Because it is deleted by the maven command. But I would like to show one more thing, maven package, right? So now what happens, see, one by one, let's quickly see it from where I executed. Yeah, here it started doing the package thing. Okay, ignore this warning. It's not our job to fix it. It will be done by our development friend or developer team. Okay, then you can see here it says resource plugin, then compiler plugin, then of course it says, okay, it compiled, the code has been compiled, right? And after that test is also run automatically. We didn't say maven test, but test was also run. And after that war plugin was executed, and it created the war file itself, right? So this is what happened, or this is what happened manually. So let's make this process using the Jenkins. One more thing, if I mean, now we know the target folder was created, and if I say tree, not tree, ls-lrt, and then tree, not tree, target, and you know the very recent, it means very latest, the war file was created at the end. We also have other stuff as well, classes, status, generate, bed surefire, test classes. Surefire, it's a plugin, I will show you later on, right? So we need to run this war. So let's see, first of all, before going and make this automated way, so in order to use this we need something. Okay, and when we saw this Jenkins website, there was an option, it says servlet container to run Jenkins Java. Jenkins is developing Java, right? So there are many ways you can run this war file. So for we are going to use Tomcat. So simple command, sudo apt install tomcat 10. I want to use latest one. Okay, and it says it's already installed. Okay, so I already installed it. This is the command. Then let me check its status. So let me first clear the screen. Now sudo systemctl status Tomcat 10. Tomcat 10. And yeah, it's running, and I can confirm it how it's running. So my application is running. It looks like this. Okay, I will show you later. So it's already deployed, but let me do one thing. Okay, let's do one thing. Deploying web application archive. So was permission denied. That's fine. Yeah, removed. Oh, that's fine. Okay. So my Tomcat configuration, I mean, when you install by default, you should be able to see like this, it works. Okay, and it's a Tomcat 10 and all this thing. So you will be able to see this. It means your Tomcat is successfully installed and you can see or you can access it. Right. So let's do one thing, and you can see now the WAR file is no more. Right. So I don't want to waste my time into troubleshooting. That's why I did in hand and prepare it beforehand, right? And but I also showed you guys the errors which I encountered, right? It's not like I hidden something that really doesn't not make sense to not show you the errors which I encountered before. That's how we learn, right? So at the moment, that's fine. So now here in this path, right? So first of all, ls-lrt target, and it says this file, and so our target is to, I mean, now what we want to do, this war file, which is actual our application. If it is Windows based application, so it is extension would happen like .exe. So we can directly share a user, okay, take this one and install on your system. You're good with that. But it's a web application, so to run a web application we need kind of a servlet container, right? And or maybe in company people say like which engine or engine are you using to run your Tomcat or your Java application, or your Jenkins or something like that. When they say engine, it means what thing you need to run this web app. Okay, so not only war related, for PHP it's a different. Okay, I'm not gonna take a name more over here, but for different kind of technology web applications, different engines are available. So when they say engine, so don't be confused. Sometimes those who are experienced people, then when the tech interview, it was asked me in my interview, and the guy asked me, instead of saying the servlet container directly, he said the engine, which engine are you using. And but he also mentioned for what, but I don't remember exactly for what he asked me. So I guess, and I answered, then I realized, okay, because I was beginner at the time, I was learning, so I didn't know. But sometimes it happens, so don't be surprised and give the answer. And if you don't understand, just ask further question like that. Okay, can you please elaborate, what do you mean by this? I've heard this first time, I'm learning. No harm. Really, interviewer appreciate your honesty. Okay, if that is a person kind of that attitude. Okay, otherwise you will be lucky, you don't have to join that kind of person's team. No offense. Okay, I didn't say anything. Okay, so let's back over here. Now I need to check, no, I don't need to check, I have to execute this application, right? So it's a war file. Yes, if you are creating a jar file .jar, right? So in that case you can execute on local system, you don't need any container, because that's a your desktop based application, right? Here it's a different story. So what I will do, I will copy this dsoc3, but it is in my target directory. I would say dsoc3.webapp.war, and where it has to send war lib, then Tomcat 10, and inside this there is a web app. Okay, and it says this. So I'm sorry, I have to copy paste it from here. So, yeah. But before that, let me show you. I'm not cheating with you guys. Okay, I know, but still, we don't have anything. We are technical persons, right? Now we are doing tech stuff, so we are more logical. We want a proof. Okay, so here we don't have anything, right?
So
So
R is missing
where?
from CP command. In copy command, R is missing from war.
Okay, okay,
In the end,
yeah. Thank you, Pradeep. I will correct it. Right. So thank you. Here, see how we should be vigilant like this. We should be attentive. Yeah, that's great. So here we don't have anything, right? So what I will do now, so how I'm going, I'm pressing on my keyboard up arrow key and down arrow key. So I'm going back. So that's how we can recall previous commands, right? That's, I think we talked already in our Linux session. But let me clear the screen, Control L, and I don't know in Windows. In Linux, it's a, I think, command or control, same. Anyways, CP, and I says Control E to come to the end and war. Okay, and it says permission denied. Okay, so how many of you noticed when I execute this command? So what are the permissions are over there? It's a root. Okay, usually, usually, I mean, of course, it's a root. I mean, this is on by the root, but when we configure a server, okay, this must be, or this should be like, I mean, this happened in it is still secure, right? It's not, it's a bad configuration. We did the automatic installation, but in real life you don't configure things with the root. Okay, somewhere you have to provide this, otherwise you have to make some configuration changes, right? So maybe you can create a user, Tomcat user, and execute the service using a Tomcat user itself. Okay, that's the ideal situation, but in this case it's fine over here. So but I told you what is the good way. Okay, so don't come after me. So sudo, it's there. Some documentation say you should need to restart your Tomcat server, but I'm good with it. Okay, let's check. And now my application is there. Before it was not here. If I go on this one, right, 8081, still I can see the same server, but here what I have done, so of course I have put this name, but you would be able to see your IP address, that 80. So by default you will encounter an error. Okay, because Tomcat is also runs on the or uses the 8080 port. In Linux class session I told you how you can identify the port, right? Run that command, find it out, and then also collect what error you get. Okay, yes, in next session I will tell you how to change this, but not today, because I want you to go ahead and do it yourself and learn. Of course I'm there. So I have changed the port, right, and 8081, and that's why. And after that I have given the name DSOC3-web app, right? So the name was our, this one is DSOC3. So you don't need to specify .war in the browser. You are good with this one, the SOC3-web app. And when I click on me, it says click me. Okay, let's click, and it says welcome to DevSecOps Club, and it's a simple servlet. It's not fancy, but yeah, it does our work. So that's the thing, right? We have deployed it manually. So now quickly, before I jump and make it entire automation for this process, do you guys have any questions which I showed you so far in any of the thing? Any question anywhere?
No, thank you. I am okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Francisco, Pradeep,
by
everybody.
default, why is it assigned to root? Like we have copied the file to war app in the folder. So in the directory, so like by default it is root. So, like by default, why doesn't we have the why don't we have can we do ch mod for this?
For what you mean?
For this same one we have just in the last line, we were
Yeah,
getting an error like we have to go for sudo command to
this
do
one.
the same thing.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. So, of course, if your app service is installed is like this, and so in that case, what happened here? That would be when you do it with the automation way, you will definitely find it. Very good, Pradeep. You asked this. So when we do it with when you will do it, I mean, I've already make a changes. Okay, that I was gonna tell in the next session, but it's still very good question, Pradeep. Here the permission denied, but as I said, this is sometimes it happen because we install it automatically, right? Sometimes you really don't want to go with the package manager because you have some specific application versioning. So you configure this entire maven, not maven, I mean maven is also can be done manually. You download from the maven website, right, and do it manually. Then you have to set up environment variables, and that's very complicated process, but that needs some time, right? So in that case, right, so what you do, you can also can download Tomcat server itself from the official website in zip file, tar.czip file, right, or tar file, simply say. Then when you extract those and do the manual configuration, so you created directory first. Okay, let's say Tomcat directory, you create one user, right, and that user will be Tomcat user, right? And after that, you provide the access to those directory to this particular user. Okay, and in our case, the Pradeep asked, instead of using sudo, we can do chmod. So permissions we already talk about in our third section, part 3 of Linux for DevOps session. So for that, yes, you can give a specific permission to this user, dsoc3. Who am I? Let's check. Okay, so of course I can check it from here, but here also. So you can give this user to perform this only this cp command, nothing else. Okay, so you can perform this thing and by providing that user. Okay, so that is possible. Have I answered your question, Pradeep? Or
Yes, it's clear now.
okay, and I hope this is helpful for other as well. Any further questions, guys? Okay, so okay, Francisco, thank you. So I believe now we are done, and let me remove this one. Okay, so I just press command R just to reverse searching, and I found this command back. I remove this. If I go over here, and yes, it has gone. So let's come back to the Jenkins and now quickly create a job. Okay, freestyle job we will create, and we will create the pipeline job later. Okay, so first thing first, if you go over here, okay, and you will be logged out. Okay, we are logged in now, and if I click on this new, so you can find freestyle project. Okay, you will not find this at the moment in your, okay, you will find only one option, freestyle project. If if your installation, if you followed the installation which I've shown you, okay, or if you click on this, still you are on the same. So that's what I'm saying, the same thing. Okay, both are, this one new item and create job are the same thing. Okay, setup agent, I'm again not discussing it, we will discuss, right? And here are the view, but and you can also create kind of view, but at the moment we do not have any job, so it doesn't make any sense. So let's first time click on this. So I would like to create my first, not first, my first automation, correct, automation, and I click on this and I said okay. And yes, I got everything. And if I say apply, save, and here in this side, if you come, so here you can see build option. When you click on this, and here we have the build is success. So at the moment we didn't do anything, right? We just create and we ask him to save. So if I go back on my job on this, and here is the configuration, right? Here we have several options. Dashboard, I click on my project, I mean the job which I've created, and after that I go on build now, and I created, and we have say build number 1. Remember, okay, it doesn't say job number 1, it says build number 1. So one occurrence, that's what I told you initially. And it also says last stable build, success build, and all this thing. Okay, so I want to change, I can also delete the, and now it says, it doesn't say job, right? When we click on this, it says create job. Now it says delete project. So if do like this, everything is gone, right? And similarly, if I click on this and I say my first automation, right, and I selected this one and selected OK, and still I'm like this, and it said delete project. Okay, so don't be confused guys with this option. Oh, sorry, these are over there, and that's fine. So whether it's a project, it's a job, it's an item, all fine. But whatever you will see when, so when I say this build, okay, first time, then I will see this is, it says builds, right? I click again, I have build number 2, I have click it again, build number 3. So these are your occurrence, as many number of times this is execution happen. Okay, so this is the build. So don't confuse, this build means what I showed you for the mapping. Okay, that's a build process to create a artifact. And additionally, before I go ahead and show you the actual configuration, I have option over here. I click on this, it says all, and if I go over here, let me show you once again. So this arrow, and there is another arrow. When I hover my cursor over here, it also gives me the same option, manage Jenkins, right? So let me go, and I told you plugins. So we install one kind of plugin. Let's see available plugin. I don't like this theme. So if you go over here in appearance, so I do not have anything over here. So what I'm gonna do first, dark theme. I selected this. Why I choose this? Because white one it's more like pressure on the eyes. When you go in the black one, so it won't, and additionally it won't also take or consume much power. So it's a more, I studied in what was that, computer graphics. There was one course in my, I like that. Anyways, now it's more eye soothing to me. Whatever is for you works best, go in that. I like to go in this direction, and that's why I've changed this. Anyways, so come back on this. So I told you manage Jenkins, right? Here if I click there, I have a configuration option. Additionally, here also I can go directly from here the configuration. So I told you discard old bits, this project is parameterized and all over here, right? When I showed you the snapshot, there was something over here, source code management. Now we do not have, right? But let's say build step first, and here we have very limited option. What limited option? If you see, so trigger builds, we will see this later on, but today we will just stick with the simple, right? So build strap, when I click, so build strap, right? So I mean, again, it's a kind of confusion. When I showed you in the before, when I click on multiple times build now, then we see multiple build number. Now it's asking, when I told you entire job is executed once, or occurrence of that is called your build. Now it is asking us for a build strap. So don't be confused here. If you have Windows, select this one. Of course, I want to execute Linux command. So it's a similar this prompt. right? So you could see here it says command, right? And execute shell. So here this box is equivalent to your terminal command. Okay, so let's first check where I am. So I will check host name, right? Next I will check who am I, how these jobs are getting executed, and where I am, and let's say what content we have over here. I click on this and I said well, let's see what happened, and click on this one. Additionally, I can also click on this and go directly to the console output, however you like. Okay, it's up to you. You can click on this, directly come over here, and let's see what do we have in the logs. So console output says it's started by this user. Of course, I can also access my own profile. Running as a system, building in workspace. I will show you the file system, right? It says var lib Jenkins workspace, my first automation. Thank God there is no typo. And here it also says something like this, and it says host name, then it says like this, output, who am I, Jenkins. So we know who am I, it means we can identify how the jobs are being executed, then where this location, so this is the location, and at the moment we do not have anything in the file, I mean at this location, right? Why this is important? So now the Pradeep, the question you asked, right, for chmod. So in this case, Jenkins is not a Tomcat user. I mean, because Tomcat server is running as a Jenkins, I mean, sorry, Tomcat server, Tomcat server is running as a Tomcat user, right? Service as a Tomcat user. And Jenkins has to perform something on top of that, where when we see the directory structure, we saw the permissions, right? The owner permission, group permission, and other permission. So Jenkins is not a part of, we can confirm this, right? Very quickly confirm. Let's see, there is another command, id. We can see whether it's a part of the Tomcat group or not. Let's go console and we can see. So Jenkins, we know by this number which kind of user is this, right? It is not a start with 1000. It means it is not a, I mean, it is a system, right? It's a process. So Jenkins like this, there is, it's a GID is like this group. So it is not part of the Tomcat user, right? So we cannot make it, because if Jenkins server is compromised, then by this user, it can do anything on your Tomcat server. So that's why we talk about the permission and how to do that, the permission, right? So okay, that's enough on this one. So we know this is our server where Jenkins jobs are executed. Here is my username and location and all this thing, but here you can see all the commands. So actual commands you can see in plus in front of them. It means this is the command executed by the Jenkins and this is the output. You can, in one of my use case I came across where I have to hide this. If you want to do that, do it. So yeah, that's it on this one. Let's make it more better. So now I want to use this code. Okay, so in order to use this code, I have to use this URL. So I came over here, let me clean everything, I don't need it. So first I'll check where I have Git installed or not. So there are many things, so let's go ahead and do with this Git version, and why not with this as well. If command is there, so git clone and we are done. And save bit. So let's see what happened. So okay, so very fast. Git has cloned this repository. Git is also over there. And so let's see what next, what do we have in this. And okay, so clone is there. Let me see, or instead I will use tree. I will have more inside about. So let's run this again, and it is gonna be failing. Yes. And why it is failed? So logs are our very good friend and honest friend as well. So it says fatal destination path already exists and it is not an empty directory. So yes, I know if we put like this, it is gonna be failed. So it is not a good way. Yes, you can do it in this way as well. So there is one way. Let me show you very first what is the one way. So when I do like this, rm minus rf and the start delete everything, I mean, but it is not good to do like this. And now it is gonna success, right? So what is good you can do simply, because this is gonna create this one, right, project. So simply I can go over here, change my configuration, and instead of removing everything, I could say, okay, before triggering the very first step, you should execute rf minus rf and this directory, and it will do the same. And I have clicked several times. All the jobs will be passed one after another. Okay, so there is no issue at all fine. And if you see over here, so you could see the last success, last failure, and all this thing. You can also build your job from over here, and it says build successful 4.1 second ago. I will go over here, but guys, this is not a good way. This is not the DevOps way to clone the repository. Okay, then what should we do? So here it comes the Git plugin. Okay, so I will go over here, manage Jenkins, then go to plugins and click on the available. Okay, out of this section, click on the available. Don't go for the install because it will show you only install. Advanced is also one of the way. We will talk about it later, but at the moment available plugin is enough for us. Then I will come over here, I type git, and very first it says, okay, source code management. Okay, and if I go more over here it says install, right? And I said okay, install, and you can check when I install git. So it also says SSH credentials binding, pipeline SCM step, and git client, right? So automatically there are some other things are also performed, right? So there is no need to restart, but if you click on this, Jenkins will go into the restarting phase. Okay, this is safe restart. You can do it as many times as you want, but sometimes in production when you are managing a real-time server, you cannot restart Jenkins. Okay, you can, but then your boss will be after you, or maybe your deaf friend. So okay, this is done. We have installed, and again we come back in this. Now is see in this section, before, not talking about this, before we did not have git, we have none. Now we have git. Okay, so let's configure this. So I will go over here, okay, and copy and paste the URL. I know this is public repository. When we go advanced section, I will also tell you how this happened when the private repository is private. Okay, but at this moment it's completely fine, and I'm good with this. It takes automatically these details. I said apply, save, and build. I know it is gonna be failed, and I also know why, but let's see the logs. And what is it? Could not find any revision to build. verify the repository and branch configuration for this job. So here there are two things, right? It says verify the repository and branch configuration for this job. So I hope if your eyesight are very keen like Pradeep, so Pradeep has already observed this. Here we have a branch master. Okay, instead MAIN, because if I go over here, I do not have any branch main, right? So what I will do, I will save and I will hit it again. Let's see what it has. And we are done with this. And this time it has performed, and we really don't need this strap anymore over here, because so I can simply, we know in our Linux when we put hash, it means it is not gonna execute at all. So let me do like this, and let me click it again, build. So we have total 16 builds, and yes, it's working fine. So as long as our number of times I want to click on this is build number 16. There is one more thing. You can simply type over here build number 17. You can see the simple build logs, and I have executed one more time. So if I go on build number 18, I can also see, but if I say build number 19, so of course there is no build number 19. Shh. Right? So that's how it works. So we have clone. So now you know, guys, right? When you install Git plugin, then you have to perform a lot other things as well. So let me make it short, long story short, because it's our session is already went long, I mean. So go to the configuration and the commands which we executed locally, right, for building the things. So what I will do, I will say maven compile, and then, or let's say compile test and package in one go. Okay, so let's see what happened. So it has started doing its magic. Testing is there. I hope you will not see like this kind of box. I don't know why it's showing for me. Anyways, so it has performed everything, and we know after doing this we get target folder, right? And inside that we have something called .war file. Where it is this? It create a WAR file? Let's see. Yeah, it's here in target. So right inside the target we will find it. And here. Okay, so now so far we have built, right, test and everything. Now we are gonna deploy. So to deploy it, simply what I need to do, I come over here as usual. It's my and I can show you in over here, right? I put this auth3 web app and it's not working. So after this, let me do like this, and let's see what happens. Let me build it once again. What it says. Okay, so sudo terminal is required to read the password. So either use -a and all these things. Okay guys, so it is for you. That's what I was hoping. What you need to do. Okay, here there are multiple ways you can do you figure it out. Okay, once you will do it, then Jenkins will be able to perform this task automatically. Don't, one of the way I've already discussed, like Pradeep told, right? I can immediately tell you what can be done over here, but you need to do it yourself. If you won't be able to do it. Just I'll give you time off till Monday. Yeah, Tuesday I will post the solution for this. What you have to do for this in your, or where you have to do what. Okay, so it's for you it's a time. Tomorrow you have time, right? Which is Sunday, whole day. In 4 5 hours I will or this recording will be uploaded for you. Go ahead, each and everything if you want to. And then when you come on this, let me make a little bit zoom so you can see what error is this, right? So simply what error it means, when I execute a command using sudo, right, something like this, so it asks me for the password. So same thing is happening over here. So of course it's automation, right? And in automation it says, okay, I need a password because sudo requires password. So there is one way you assign, you execute. You can assign a permission to Jenkins as a root. Okay, that's not recommended. You can add Jenkins user in the Tomcat group, right? Or another thing, just talk with the chmod, right? There is one more solution in which I expect you to do. But if not, then I will provide you the answer. Pradeep, if you wanna share some your thought on the answer, then I would not recommend you to do.
Wanted to know, like, I write down target dsub for can we give a permission to the main file so that when we copy it, the permission also gets copied to the for lib tomcat?
You mean here?
I mean, the main file is in target dsub
Yeah.
web app, right?
Yeah, this is
So
our
we
war file. Yeah.
yes, so we can give permission like chmod 777, and we can after that we can copy it back and remove the permission.
Okay, so you mean one second. First, let me rephrase your question. What you throw RT in? Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's enough. We can see the permissions. There are other ways, but here we will see something else. 21. Okay, fail. That's okay. Yeah. So you mean this file has a permission? I mean, because inside this is in target, right? And inside target, of course, it would also be having a Jenkins. Let's do it as well. So it will make more sense. Guys, very quick. I'll be very quick. And okay, target, get. Okay, 22, build number 22. Okay, fine. Now, so now we have everything. Everything has a Jenkins. So Pradeep, are you saying, or let me put in this way, as what I understood, we have to make changes for this file, permission of this file, and move when we move in this, right? So after
Yes.
changing permission, we can move the file to in this directory.
Yes, and provide permissions there.
Okay. So I would say over here, I mean, first of all, I really appreciate you put a doubt over here. So let me correct you, my dear friend. First of all, permissions, right? Here, I mean, when we are moving the file, okay, we really don't need to change permission of this file. Here, permission of the user which does not have permission on this directory, web apps. Okay, because when you move this file into this one, right, then the permission of this file, let me show you over here, why not. ls rt wallet over here. we do not have. But anyways, we have this. Okay, let me move it manually. One moment. Maven package. Very good question, Pradeep. Okay, so now I'm just copying. Okay, and now let's see. So here we have permission with this user, right? And here when after copying this file, okay, let's directly check this one. So you can see where as soon as I copy the file, automatically, right, this permission is changed. So if you remember when we talk about this our Linux part 3, I in permission I also told, not you only, I mean we talk about this umask thing. So this happened because of those things. Those things, it means the masking value, right? So automatically when this file was over here, so read write read and all this thing, and here you could see read, and only group has read access. When root is the owner, then permission is different, and we talk about the umask value for both is different. So I would again recommend you go and watch permission thing, and that's why we discuss all the topics we discuss over there, and that's why we discuss, because when we do things like this and things doesn't happen, then it goes in other direction and it wastes our time. I mean, I'm happy, I really happy, okay, don't check it. I really happy you asked this question. So permission here, the permission is not like we have to change permission on the file, right? Here the by default permission of the directory. So this user, that he in this case the DSOC user, and in this case the Jenkins user does not have anything over here in the, I mean, any accessing directory, and we can check it via this values. And even though if you add, like I said, okay, one of the option is adding into the group, so you could see by default group values only read access group. When you add Jenkins user into the let's say Tomcat user, it is not gonna work. You have to make more things, right? So when you do things on the server, so we just install Tomcat server, it is not hardened, right? There are more things can be done, but in this situation, you need to do something so our automation can work and work in a sophisticated way. It should not be like workaround, okay? So that's the thing. Okay, further question. No? Yes?
But it's, it is failing because the Jenkins doesn't have permissions to work, if I understood right.
Correct, Francis. So Jenkins user does not have permission on this path, okay?
Yeah.
Here,
and you cannot leave, I don't know, I'm just imagining, leave Jenkins log as administrator.
I don't follow your question. Could you come back again, please?
Like as a sudo. Be like as a sudo profile to just I don't know.
Okay.
Because tell me is required to read the password. You know, seems having problem with sudo, with the password of sudo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So this is required. It seems as need to access as sudo.
Exactly. So that's okay. That's a clue. Very well, Francisco. You are going right direction.
It's written here. A password is, you know, it's
yes, but no, it is written over here. So that's why there are very, I mean, there are many possibilities you can achieve, but I want you to do in a good way as a DevOps. Okay, I can immediately tell you right away. I can open the things and make here there are some changes. It will take only 15 seconds for me. But I want you guys, yeah, I want you to guys learn, okay, and do it yourself. I'm giving you time till Monday, okay. But your clue is so with the statement of the Francisco. Yes, the clue is yes, Jenkins could have access like DSOC, like kind of. I'm not saying exact, so it can perform sudo things, okay. Or you maybe need to make some changes where Jenkins won't throw this error, so sudo is automatically performed. Fine. So guys, I would say that's enough on this topic, right? I already showed you this is really gonna work, okay. Once we copy this, so I think copied, yeah, it's working the same jar, or not the same, I created something different. And next session, right, so you make sure you fork it so you can practice it. Later we will be working on the private repository, how it will work. So today was just I would say nothing. It's just to make you familiar with the Jenkins. Okay, we will be doing very complicated stuff. So I would, guys, ask you, please do the practice. Okay, whatever I have shown you over here, just do the practice the same, nothing else. Okay, don't worry for this one. Okay, this error. So let me give you in a chat. Of course, guys, you can go ahead and ask for your AI favorite AI. Okay, but when you ask it, so ask more, okay, and whatever things you get, just read about it and make it as your own notes, okay. That's what I want. And when we come back, we will be doing it manually, and at the moment we do not have anything, so we will be creating more complex stuff in next session, right? And additionally, one more thing I would like to show you over here, guys, very quick. We have here, so like when I say notes, so we have only built-in notes, right? That's why it was giving us an error. It's a risk to run everything on built-in note. So this is our built-in note, right? And when I click over here, I can do the and the number of executor when I showed you over here, this. So this over here. So when I say 3, it will go ahead and change this value has got changed to 3. Okay, so it depends. Sometimes you also have to execute some of the jobs on the master server itself, right? So for that, based on the hardware, okay. Otherwise, what happened, everybody pull or push the code to the remote repository, yeah, remote repository, and all of a sudden, let's say 100 jobs trigger on your, I'm just giving a very simple small example. 100 is nothing, right? It could be more, and all of a sudden your Jenkins server is not capable enough to handle those number of jobs, then everything will be crashed, right? So to protect those things, we have number of executor. I will also give you a demo, right? How many parallel things can be happen. So we'll go more beyond these things. So today is just was to give you the fill. We will create, and here we also have option cloud, right? And when we and see here it says install plugin, we do not have anything, so we will install plugin over here. And once we install plugin, then we will having more options, then we will see what we would be having. So those for the dynamically agent, right? And see the same error again. And appearance we did, so credentials we didn't create it so far, user we did not create it so far. It's part of our security part. When we speak about the security, I will tell you more in this one. And let's prepare for shit now. What, we do not have nothing to do. Let's shut down. Nothing to do. So now we have prepared it for the shutdown, right? And now everywhere it will represent the same. So next task for you guys to find out how we can do the shutdown. Okay, where is the shutdown button of the Jenkins? I've given you two questions. One is there, the error which I already given you. Second, you have to find out where is the shutdown button. Okay, don't tell me we can go ahead and here we can disable the service. That is not the way. Otherwise you're gonna interrupt everything whatever is happening on the server. Okay, so that's not the way at all, right? So yep, I believe that's enough for the day. In next session we will be talking about more stuff, right? And we'll go we'll setting up the yeah.
So can I request something?
Yeah.
Also, can you copy the message to the group? Like I'm not able to copy it.
Okay, so let me take a note of it. I will do it. No worries, I will do that.
Thank you.
No worries, you are most welcome. And see, you here when you prepare something like this, it is not gonna schedule further jobs on at all. Okay, so that's why it is showing in. So Jenkins is pending and it is in the pending state, right? And there are so many other as well. I mean, there are so many other reasons as well, but at the moment it gives you Jenkins is about to shut down. And once you prepare for this, so this is called graceful shutdown. This is what the preferred way the DevOps do. Okay, so I think it's enough on this part we created. So what we have learned today, let me quickly go over here and here. So we have seen already what Jenkins is, right? Jenkins workflow installation, Jenkins Jenkins dashboard, and types of Jenkins job, our first automation, and we also deployed our web Java based web application. Okay, and so that's it from my side. And still, do you have any questions, guys? Quick reaction.
Waiting for the.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Francisco. Thank you, Pradeep, Samar, and Raj for joining today. Thanks for your patience and for the participation. I really enjoyed today's session as well. So this is as usual our contact details, and very big thank you. And next session we will see each other and we will talk about part 2 of the advanced things, where we will be creating a pipeline, and I will also show how you can create a pipeline. Okay.
Thank you, Kartik.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. So see you next week, guys. Okay, and Monday is the deadline. Fine for this solution, and I mean, I will send you by Monday the solution if you do. Okay. Take care.
Okay.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.